Okay. Well, hello. Let me see what's going on. Hello, everybody. I am trying really hard to get this. I'm trying to get this live, and let me just start over because I've been backstage for like ever. How y'all doing? Yeah, we're going to be talking about Groundswell, and I am trying really hard to figure out. They said we could share this link, but it seems like it wouldn't come up on my screen, the Zoom meeting. So I don't know. And we've been working with this for a while now, trying to. We have had a lot of trolls. It was crazy. So let me look and see if I can. Oh, wait. All right. Let me see if I can get this. Let's try this one. I don't know, y'all. Let's see. Hello, Four Pits. Carrie Justice. Hello. Teresa. Nobody, nothing. Shane. All right. Let me try something else here. You're probably not going to see this unless I can. Let's see. I don't know what's going on here. All right. Because somebody is live and it is on Facebook, but I'm trying to find a live link for y'all because the Zoom wasn't working. How is it on here? This is crazy, y'all. Technology, you gotta love it, right? All right. How come I can't find this? I know this is very I know it's very. Oh, wait. Let's see if I can share this, okay? Let me try this. Hey, CJ. Oh, thank you. Thank you, CJ. Hey, I want to do a show with you so bad. I've been missing you. I've been working and everything else, and it's been crazy. Have to click on allow. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can share my screen. Can y'all see this?
Eyes on Delphi. Eyes on Delphi. Delphi. Justice for one. 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 Eyes on Delphi. 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 Justice for one. Justice for one. Justice for one. Justice for one.
Can y'all see that okay? I know, let's see. Make sure I'm still sharing. Yeah, I think they're having some internet problems over there. So, I don't know. Like it's been crazy. We've been working at this for about an hour. Um, and then I have someone else who said that she was going to be there, he or she, I'm not really sure. And I'm kind of waiting to see if they send me a link from their camera. So there you go. Uh, make sure. It looks like it's. Yeah, I guess. So while.
We are
Oh,
going to
wait.
hang out for a few hours.
I guess we're losing the link again. All right. All right. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Let me go back here for just a minute. So for those of you, let me say hello to everybody. Hello, Jen. Have to click on allow. Okay. I think I did. Um, I was in a Zoom meeting. Oh, wait.
I'm muted like a boomer. Hi, everybody. We've got more friends coming. I wish I could turn my camera, but that'll work.
Uh, yes, 4 pits. It is long overdue. Uh, and let me, I know, I agree. I agree, Teresa. More people need to go. I honestly, it was, I wanted to go. It, it's impossible for me right now. My boss is on vacation and COVID is going around. So I have been working a lot of extra hours. And then we had the holidays. And yeah, jeez, almighty. I'm not even awake this morning, y'all. I worked so long this weekend. I'm barely here, barely. I'm going to leave this up. And when somebody breaks through again, we'll know. We'll know. So, in the meantime, people who maybe you don't understand, uh, good morning, Yaya. What a fun name, Yaya. Uh, here it is.
Justice for one. Justice for one. Justice for one. Justice for all. Justice for one. Justice for all. Justice for one. Justice for one. Justice for one. Justice for all. 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 Justice for one.
Justice for all.
Justice for one.
Justice for all.
Eyes on Delphi.
Eyes on Flora.
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 Eyes on Delphi. Justice for one.
Justice for all.
Justice for one.
Justice for all.
Justice for one.
Justice for all.
Justice for one.
Justice
Justice
for all.
for one.
Justice for all.
Justice for one.
Justice for all.
Justice for one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel for them. It's cold, cold. I think did y'all get some snow up there? I think you did. 4 pits. Let me see what you're saying. Did anyone get a count on how many signed the petition? I did not. Okay, HCC is there. And Bob Mata, maybe they saw. I know Bob Mata said that he may go. he may go. Uh, he was going to try to go. Snow and 20 degrees. Dang, I know, because it's cold here in Alabama. It was like 33 this morning when I took my daughter to school. Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay, we might be getting something again. Well, all right. For those of you who don't understand, you know, why this is so important, okay? The reason is not okay. They're saying eyes on Delphi, eyes on Flora, which of course is very, very important. But for you who are thinking this is just an Indiana thing, no, it is not. The problem here is that let me go ahead and change this for a second. The problem here is that it's precedence, it's due process. Okay, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me whether you think Rick Allen is guilty or innocent. That is really not what we're talking about today. You understand that this is about due process, because the way that the defense attorneys were hold on.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with our friend Hoosier. How are we doing?
Doing good?
We got our signs.
Yes.
Is it cold enough for us?
It's a nippy. Peachy.
It's peachy. It's a little nippy. I don't know how to turn the camera around, so I'm sorry if I'm making everybody seasick.
Okay, while we don't, I'm just going to leave myself in the corner. And I'm sharing the whole screen. I don't know. I'm afraid to. I'm afraid to change it. I would like to, but your comments are coming up on the right. It says it's not horizontal anyway. I hope you can see that. Yes, it is justice for all. Okay, because here's the thing, and I'm just going to tell you, I listened. I can't even remember who it was, so I can't like really diss on them because I've watched so much the last couple of weeks. But some goober was on, whatever channel it was, saying, "Oh, this is just an Indiana."
Go must go. Go must go. Go must go. Go must go. Go must go.
Anyway, this guy was on there saying that this was just, an Indiana thing. Blah, blah, blah. No, sir, it is not. You clearly do not understand how the law works. The law is, it doesn't matter what state it is. When they are going to, it sets a precedence, okay? Because when they don't really know how to interpret the law in a certain way, look back on other cases, not just in their state, in the whole nation. And they're searching out cases that are similar. Well, what did they do in that case? What was the ruling in that one? And it sets a precedence, okay? And when you have a precedent set, that holds a lot of weight in a court of law. So here is the problem. It's not Indiana. It is us, all of us. Because whether you think he's guilty or innocent, the thing is, when it's you, what happens when you're arrested? What happens when your mom, your dad, your kid, your best friend, whatever, is arrested? If they do not get the same due process that's promised to us, okay, in the Constitution, then there is a problem. Because let's just say you get arrested and it's unjust and it's, whatever. Or even if you're guilty, it doesn't matter. You are still supposed to get the correct due process. And by due process, it means like the rules, the regulations of the court. Okay. So what happened on October 31st is that Judge Gull, as we've seen, I didn't do a reading of all that stuff. I was busy, and I knew everyone else would. but I'm sure you've seen the papers of the transcript of the behind the scenes meeting between Rosie Baldwin and Gull and McClelland. So here is the thing. That should have been a separate hearing. If she was going to kick the defense off the case, which I really don't, I disagree that it was gross negligence. I think they maybe should have been sanctioned. Uh, Rosie really had nothing to do with it. So, but here you go. There's a back chambers meeting where she basically slaps their hands and says, "Get out of here." Well, I understand now why they said they felt ambushed, because clearly Nick McClelland knew what was going to happen that day. He had witnesses, he had this whole thing for investigation because it was his goal to get them kicked off the case. Well, if I had to go against Rosie and Baldwin, I would, I'd want them kicked off the case too, because apparently they're very good at what they do. All right. But aside from that, they show up and they had no idea that the hearing that they thought they were attending, that wasn't it. It was this whole thing of Judge Gull setting up them saying, well, either we're going to do this hearing right now, with them having no preparation. Okay, they didn't have any time to get their defense of their actions. There should have been a whole separate hearing. Should the defense, be allowed to remain on the case if she felt that they were grossly negligent, not just a behind the scenes meeting where Rick Allen still said, "I understand what's happened and I want him to be my attorney." Well, you're like, look, she wouldn't even let him come on pro bono. So you have the judge just basically saying, "No, I don't like these attorneys. I don't like the way this case is going. So you're out of here." Well, when it's your defense attorney or your mama's or your child's, you're going to feel differently. So the way that this stands right now is there was no actual hearing for the defense to even say why they should be allowed to stay on the case. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just like she didn't care what the defendant wanted. She didn't care about the rules of due process. She's just like, okay.
Justice for one.
Justice for all.
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 Goal must go.
Go must go.
Goal must go.
Go must go.
Goal must go.
Yeah. So you see why this is important and why they're.
Goal must go. Goal must go. Goal.
Hey, Grizz. What's going on? Yeah, so you see, it's not about Rick Allen's innocence or guilt or anything. This is about establishing a legal precedent. And if you're not horrified, you should be, because this affects potentially every single one of us. And that's why this is important. Today is the deadline for, what is it, the Supreme Court? Y'all, I need like loads of coffee this morning. We have to have a decision out by today. So we're, hello, Lambert. Yeah, so this is the reason that they're protesting, and I seriously.
Eyes on Delphi. 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 Delphi. Eyes on Delphi. Eyes on Delphi. Justice for one. Oh, they coming back. Oh, okay. Eyes on Flora.
Gold must go.
Go must go.
Go must go. Eyes on Flora. Eyes on go.
Go must go.
Go must go. Go must go. Go must go. Go must go. Go must go. Go must go. Go must go.
Yeah. Digital, she said she didn't even file pleading for the record of what her intentions were. Of course, that's why, I mean, this judge has gone rogue. And that's what the protest is about, okay? What she did was highly improper. And if we let this continue, then what happens when it's me, when it's you? Like I said, it's it's important. And so even though I couldn't be there today, I wanted to stream this. I wanted to talk about it. Even though I haven't had enough coffee and clearly I look exhausted because I am. But yeah, like, look, this is the thing. You can't sit by and watch something like this happen without speaking up. And like I said, doesn't matter. Guilt, innocent, that's not on the line. Now, what I will say, I find it very interesting. And, maybe it's just coincidence. But it just seems strange to me how she kicked them off the case the day before the prosecution had to hand in all of their discovery, right? Everything there, they had ruled that by November 1st, the prosecution had to give over all their evidence to the defense because the trial was supposed to start in January, right? Well, if you get rid of, really illegally, not by due process, if you just kick the defense off and say, psych, here, we're gonna throw you off, we're gonna start with a new defense, and hey, you know what, it's gonna take them a long time to figure out what's going on, so we'll set the trial for a year from now, and in the meantime, that Frank's hearing that they were supposed to rule on, because let me tell you, if the Frank's motion had come to a hearing and they found that the evidence was gathered illegally, and
Eyes on Delphi.
then the whole case would have been thrown out. So do you see what's at stake here? So the timing of that, very, very interesting. I mean, I guess stranger things have happened. But I think in Delphi, this is, from what I am seeing, from all the research that I've done, as far as corruption and stuff like that, yeah, I think it's par for the course for Delphi. And I'm glad to see people out here. I hope all, a lot of these creators are also doing the same thing. Hello, Salty Sleuth True Crime Time. I have no idea what's going on with my phone. If you hear that buzzing. Let's see. Yes, Carrie Justice, you are absolutely right. This whole case, the judicial process is unbelievably ridiculous in Delphi. Absolutely. And yeah, I cannot wait either to see what the judge's response is. I'm just telling you. Hello, Angie Pangie. Dirty Delphi. I've been watching from Kentucky since day one. Yeah. And for a long time, I didn't follow this case that closely. I just followed the narrative. And I think the one thing that this case has taught me, even about other cases that I feel like they got the right perp, that everything's, oh my gosh, studying the Delphi case has made me question everything, because I see so much corruption and so much stuff that is just pointed toward the narrative. All right. I'm not saying that every narrative is wrong, but I always just kind of believed, this is what the news said. They found this, they found that. When I started digging into Delphi, then it made me also look at some other cases, and it's horrifying, y'all, what happens in a court of law when you don't have advocacy. And so that is what I'm actually, just on a side note, I'm looking into, because I'm from Alabama, I'm looking into like joining up with the Alabama advocacy cold cases. Cold cases are hard because, depending on how cold they are, a lot of the people have passed away. There's not even a whole lot, to go on in some cases. But I always thought the attorneys were your advocates, right? If you're guilty or you're charged, they say you're guilty of a crime, you just kind of think it's the attorneys that are your advocates. But in a lot of cases, you need way more than just what attorneys can do. There is so much information, because you have to think, it's a job. Okay, that's what they do. They have a limited amount of time to prepare for a case, even if they continue, and they spend hours on it. I get that. But a lot of times it's people like you and me and all these other wonderful people out here in cyberspace that we look at things like we cover everything. Everybody's looking at y'all at their Facebooks, their Instagrams, their TikToks, their Twitters. And when we focus in on somebody, we're looking at Reddit posts, we're looking at groups, discussion groups all over the place, because there is a lot of information out there. Now, it's not always true, but imagine, I know how much, how many man hours I have spent on Delphi, and just me alone, I can't imagine that the attorneys could have spent any more time on some of these cases than I've spent on Delphi. But then you multiply that exponentially by all of these people online who are looking at the same thing, and I can see where it can be a hindrance, certainly with the rabbit holes. But I think that people out here doing what they're saying, like looking at it, saying, yeah, eyes on Delphi, eyes on Flora. Let's see. We just want people to be accountable, okay, for their actions. And most especially in this case, we want Judge Gull. I don't even know if there's words for her. To me, it's like she is bullying the legal system. And I have to think that based on her actions in this case, if this is what she's doing, then she's been doing it a long time. Like, you don't start with something like this. So what else has she done? I don't know. But it certainly makes me wonder. Lambert says, sorry, I'm behind a little bit on the comments. Lambert says, what does everybody think about Crime Night's last video? He had a lot of information. I didn't get to finish it. I was listening to it coming home from work last night, and there were so many things I wanted to write down. I got tickled when he was talking about, I can't even remember. He said something about P.T. Barnum. I meant to write that down, but I was driving. I meant to remember that whole thing. I laughed so hard at that, but he's absolutely right. It's a dog and pony show. Okay, Yaya Kelly says, in my opinion, she's working on the side of LE because of DC's aspirations to be governor. She's bucking for an AG position, allegedly. I have heard that several times, that she wants to be an AG. And attorney general. I think that based on the Delphi case, I think that is the absolute worst thing that could happen. And I actually hope that this show of whatever she's doing takes her out of the running. Do I think it's political? I've heard a lot of stuff about Doug Carter wanting to be governor. I mean, I guess he's the only one that could say whether that's true or not. But certainly, you have to think it's that politics are a way of life. Yeah, that's the law. The law attracts these kind of people, and because they do know the law. And then you get somebody like AOC. Don't get me started on her, who didn't have that background, but you see where that takes you. But anyway, I'm just not gonna say it. Okay. There's a lot of things. So yeah, you want people who understand the law to be in positions of authority, but it becomes a power thing and influence, and that is not. I mean, I know that goes with the territory. I mean, come on, who are we kidding? But what about honesty, integrity, character? These are things that should, most often are not, honestly, in our political system. I hate politics. I do. I really want to say I just hate them all. Let's see. I will say, I will agree with you there. Joe has been slaying this. He's got so much information. Now, whether you love him or hate him, you have to say this. Joe has a lot of info on this whole case. Let's see. Oops. How come I can't do this? All right. Carrie Justice says impeccable timing from Gull pulling her crap to the crime scene photo leaks. Yeah. And you know what? I understand it's a horrible thing. I understand. I feel for the families that know that the crime scene photos are out there. But what I will say, at least in this case, that I am thus far, as of today, proud of is that no one has publicly shared those photos because, or done what some other creators have done, as in, they're on my Patreon or my membership, whatever it was that happened. But I think that the fact that they haven't been put out there that we know of, okay, that says a little bit about maybe some of the, I don't even want to say integrity of some creators, because I think there are a lot of creators with no integrity at all. But there are some really great ones, and I'm glad to see that everybody has kept this under wraps, because that is not anything that I never saw the need. And I have to wonder, even if, people are saying the defense, is behind this, they leaked this. Well, the thing of it is there really wasn't a reason to, okay? The Frank's motion had such a vivid description in it that you could have drawn it out pretty much just from the description. So I don't think after reading that we were in much doubt of, kind of how the crime scene looked. So it was unnecessary, and it didn't do anything to drive home a point, in my opinion. Okay. Having photos is something that is very descriptive. Like, we have imaginations. We can know. Yeah. I want to tell you something. Hi, Kip Kitty. Good to see you. Sorry, I missed you earlier. The case should have had an arrest in a couple of weeks. You know what's funny about that is when I was at work yesterday doing some stuff, sometimes I'll put on YouTube and I'll just like let it play different things while I'm charting and doing that kind of stuff. And I watched, and I can't even remember who the creator was. I watched so many this weekend, But somebody had a very long, one of the first interviews by Robert Ives. Now, I've used clips of that in some of my older videos, but I listened to the whole thing, and you know, it that's exactly what he said. He didn't say weeks. He said in a couple of days. He said that even if you were talking about being in the 1960s with, no technology, just old-fashioned police work, he said, quote, there was enough evidence at the crime scene, all right, that it should have been solved within a couple of days. He said he didn't think, never imagined that it would be more than a couple of days before they figured out who the perpetrator was because of the enormity of the evidence at the crime scene. And yet here we are, from 2017 to almost 2024, and we have somebody in custody, but we have major doubts as to what his involvement was, if any, or if little. But certainly, even the prosecution and the investigators have still said, we think there are other people out there that are involved in this. So you tell me, if I've thought there's an enormous amount of evidence here, this should be wrapped up, why has it been? And I'll just say this, after studying a lot of the ins and outs and even some stuff with the Frank's motion recently, there are certain things that stick out to me that I'm just going to say I believe they did know and do know who is involved. For whatever reason, they don't want them prosecuted. Now, let me go back and say, my official statement is and has been, I don't know if Rick Allen is completely innocent. I'm open if they've got some actual evidence, not made up, not an affidavit like Liggett and Lazenby and Holman and all these people want to put in an affidavit. If they have some real evidence, I'm open to hearing it and making a decision. I do not feel that at this moment, from what I have seen, and especially in the light of the lies on the affidavits, that there is enough evidence to convict him or even really say that he's guilty. Now, could there be other evidence? Of course there could. I just don't understand why, if you had big, heavy hitting evidence, you put a bunch of crap in the PCA. Because what's the point? The PCA is mostly made up of eyewitness statements, which we now know are untrue. But even at best, eyewitness statements really don't hold a lot of weight in a court of law because eyewitnesses are notoriously mistaken. So you got that. And then you've got the fact that he said he was on the bridge. We've got some very questionable pictures and stuff, which somewhere just recently, I think I said it on the last live, they've now said that was from a trail cam. Well, yeah, that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like it's from an iPhone. It never did. So now you've got some grainy images. You've got some audio that we don't really even know what the heck. We've got pictures of BG. One's old, one's young. Say, disregard this one, take this one. No, it's a combination of both. Like, what the heck? You can't even make up your own dang minds. So, I don't know. And then you have the statement at the press conference where they're saying, well, okay, you've got these sketches, but these sketches are not necessarily connected to this voice. So why even give us this information? Okay. Why even do it? The sketches are inaccurate. The video is undetermined. We'll just leave it at that. It's undetermined. It's obviously been kind of strung together. And we got voices that don't match anything. So what you got? You got a big ball of nothing is what you got. And you've got a lie on, the affidavit of Liggett saying that Rick Allen was there between 1:30 and 3:30. And he says, I was there between 12 and 1:30. Well, phone records, whatever. There could be some digital evidence that says what time he was there. Again, haven't seen it, but I'm open to listening to things that aren't fabricated, okay? And at this point, I want to believe that there was a reason that we have made this man stay in isolation for a solid year. But the more I look at it, the more I wonder if they do have that. However, again, let me make sure that I have. Okay. All right. So I guess it says this video is ended. All right. I wonder if they're going to have it back on there. Let me check real quick. Let me see if there's anything on here. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right, so they've stopped for right now. So they are continuing. All right, but here's the thing. And please let me know if somebody else knows or somebody else is there. Let me check my Discord real quick. Oh, wait. Let's see. I have a friend. Oh, okay. All right. CJ sent me a message on how I could do that. Well, it's too late now. Let me see if there's another link. All right. They're still working on the stream. Okay. And we had, like I said, we had a Zoom meeting this morning. Oh, wait. Okay, let me just read this to you so you know what's going on. And this is from a Discord group. Let's see. I don't understand some. One of the attorneys for Allen have asked people to hold off on any GFM for now. It's not necessary. What is that GFM? Like I don't get it. I just probably have cobwebs in my brain this morning. All right, but I'm trying to keep up with what's going on. Yeah, this morning, yeah. We had trolls in the Zoom group. We had a lot of foreigners coming in, and whew, it was something else. All right. All right. I know I'm way behind on your comments. Fort Pitt said, Mom said she heard Nick discussing the case in a bar to some of the locals. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised. Because in a small town, it happens. It happens. Sorry about that. I think also when you talk about leaks, I mean, how many leaks have there already been? You have Barbara McDonald saying that, she was getting info. Definitely, if you go back and you look at old videos of some creators who have been around for a while, even if they don't come out and say it, like, obviously, you know that they have seen the crime scene photos. So they have been out there for a very long time. And so this is why I have to wonder, why did this issue come up? Why did they have this whole thing? It's very interesting to me, the timing of it, because I assumed, okay, I had never seen pictures, but I had assumed, listening to other creators over this whole past year that I've been digging into this case, that they had, just from the way they said things, the things that they seemed to know, and said as truth, I assumed they were out there. Okay. And that was none of my business, really. I mean, I didn't know what to say about it. I'm staying out of it. Uh, but it was obvious that people had information. So, you know what? This isn't the first. And people are acting like this whole thing with this leak from the defense is just, oh my God, it's a shocker. This information has never been out there. Horse feathers. Of course it has. Of course it has, especially to people who are in that area. And I'm not trying to diss on any creator or anybody, but people who are in that area, when you're in from a small town or whatever, you look, people share information. There were people out there, civilians are the ones that found the girls to start with. Somebody took pictures. Come on. People shared information. That's not a shocker. That's to be expected, really. So, the fact that it was being discussed, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. But now all of a sudden, this is horrendous new information. Now, the whole circumstances around it with RF and all that kind of stuff, horrible, horrible. But it's not a shocker, y'all. Come on, use your heads. It's not a shocker. This information has been out there. Y'all know it. Let's see. What else are y'all saying? Four Pit says, I can tell you exactly who he was discussing it with. I would love to hear it. Message me on Discord if you want. I would love to know that. I don't share information like that. It's just interesting to me. Let's see. You're right. Yeah. She says, I'm a hairstylist and would bartend on the side. The stuff people discuss with you, either from a stylist chair or a bar stool, is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think those are the two places more than any that people do think it's okay to discuss stuff. I've heard more stuff in a salon than I've ever heard anywhere. Now, in my profession in nursing, especially when things get critical, people tell you things that they've never told their family. They tell you things that they want to live on that somebody knows. So, our nurses, we get the deep, dark secrets. But, you can't say anything. So it lives rent free in my head. Big fish, small pond. I think we need smaller caseloads for public defenders and prosecutors. Yeah, I agree. But the problem is, how's that going to happen? You have a limited number of defenders. I mean, it's the same as I could say that, like, back to nursing, I could say that too. Yeah, what we need is smaller patient loads so that everybody is, safe and protected and nobody's burnt out. Their mistakes aren't made. The problem is where are you going to get them? There's not enough people. There's not enough people for the patients, and then there's not enough public defenders for all the crimes. I mean, yes, I would love to see that, because you're right. You can't defend somebody. Let's see. Four Pit says Nick was in the bar confiding in. Oh, see, I don't know who that is. Where the customers could overhear him. Well, you know what? Again, not surprising. Like I said, small town life. I'm not saying it's right. Hoosier says my hairstylist knows everything going on in our town. I'm sure. I am sure. Uh, uh, very interesting for pits. Um, yeah, here is the thing, too. You're absolutely right, Lambert. Imagine what Ellie is doing to the lesser cases that do not get any coverage from people like us. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know what? They're probably sitting in jail somewhere being, you know, uh, having been convicted for a crime that maybe they didn't commit or they weren't as big a participant in. That's my question is Rick Allen a participant? I don't know. I really don't know. Um, and I'll just say this, his life was seemingly so secretive as far as social media and stuff that he did. He seemed like he was more of a private person. So, and there is no crime in that. Okay, I think sometimes we look at people, and if they are more introverted, we can put all kind of stuff on them. Oh, they didn't go out much, they didn't have a lot of friends, they weren't social. There must be something bad, they have a deep dark secret. That's not always true. Some people are just private, they just have their small crowd of people. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is we don't know very much about Rick Allen, so everybody's kind of guessing, and it's hard to prove. And so when you take, absolutely, people like that, who's going to come to their defense? Who's going to ask questions? Um, I think absolutely having someone look at stuff and question. Okay. It's okay to question. And you may have a question. You may think something, really believe something, and you find out later on it's not true at all. And that's the thing. You have to be a big enough person to say, you know what? I really believed that this person was involved. And I was wrong. I had that recently. I really, I haven't completely given up on it, but I definitely had a theory within the last month or two that I was sticking to. And, then some things happened, and I realized all of a sudden they could be involved, but it absolutely did not happen that way. And it's okay. It's okay. I want the truth because the truth matters. All right, the truth just does. It matters, for you, for me, for everybody. uh Buddy Rich, did Holman threaten gold too? Who knows? Who knows? uh I'm sure. uh I'm sure there have been words spoken, but whether they're threats, again, you have to think of the hierarchy. Who is in power? You have to look at all these things. Who's in power? Who are they? What groups are they related to? What are they a part of? Most people don't have a whole lot of character, honestly, and fortitude when it comes to things like your career, your livelihood. If people put pressure on you, I'm not even saying threatening, but if people put pressure on you, uh, a lot of people will fold and just say, well, it's in the best interest of my family to do it their way. I think we become a nation of slackers, of people who just don't have personal integrity anymore, not willing to stand up for what's right, even in the face of opposition or um, monetary loss or whatever. And I can't live other people's lives for them, but I can say this: I hope, you know what? I hope I never fall into that category. But then again, when you get threats, and if it's threats against your kids or your family or your friends, it is harder, to keep going, because you don't want to put anybody else in danger. I'm not, saying that makes somebody a terrible person because they back down. I don't think it does. I don't want to be one of the people that back down. Uh, you know, so there you go. That's just my opinion. Um, okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm sure the people are scared to death of him in Delphi, so nobody's gonna narc on him. I don't know. Uh what is it? Harry says, what is really going on in Delphi? I mean, really, why are there so many evil people in one town in prominent positions? Yeah, well, here's the thing. We've talked a little bit about it. You got to look at the history. Look at the whole history of Indiana. Look at you can start back in the 1800s, but certainly, even if you want to start in the 1900s, okay, you have to look back at the people that wear the hoods, that have the three letters. They ruled the state, politics, everything. They ruled the state for a very long time. I know that they are still maybe more undercover now, because there's so much going on. They're not as prominent, but before they were loud and proud, and they thought, look up the history of that. It's shocking and it's horrific, the things that were done. Do I think those people just decided one day to say, you know what? I just think I'll be a better person and I'm just going to leave this group? No, I do not think that. I think they just made it harder to spot, You just go under the radar. And so, you have a lot of things. I know people crucify me for this, whatever. You know what? I've had it. I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. Do I think but I'm going to just say it. The Freemasons, they run rampant everywhere, not just Indiana. They're here too, everywhere. My channel, and I've talked about shadow banning. I have come under a lot of fire and stuff for the things and the people that I've had on here. If y'all have been following me for a while, you know that I had Carol on, who is Illuminati bloodline. She talks about them, the Freemasons, MK Ultra, all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna back down on this. Freemasonry runs rampant, and not every Freemason, especially in the lower levels, they're not bad people. They don't know. If you really want to know, there's a lot of information out there. Okay, so they're not if there is a brotherhood and there is a brotherhood of Freemasons, they're not going to tell on each other. Okay, guess who's a Freemason? Nick McClellan. Guess who's a Freemason? Brad Holder. Do you think they're going to tell on each other? You think Nick's going to involve Brad? No, of course he's not. He can't. And that's the truth. There are other Freemasons. Law enforcement is notoriously involved. Not just law enforcement, but judges, attorneys, a lot. Are all of them bad? No, they're not. But if someone is, they take blood oaths to not say anything. So there you go. At the very least, it provides the support for corruption. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? You can't, if you have that as a ground rule, well, how are you going to fight corruption if it's somebody that shouldn't, if it's somebody in the brotherhood? Brad Holder wasn't in law enforcement. He wasn't a cop. He wasn't an attorney, but yet he's in the brotherhood. So what you going to do? Can't throw him under the bus. Let's see. Digital. If someone under the gag order is talking to YouTube creators, is that breaking the order? I would think so. Are they considered journalists or news media? No. Although I will say this, journalists, I know a lot of people have a degree in journalism, but that you don't have to be considered a journalist. However, nobody considers YouTubers journalists, and that's fine. I don't know why they do. A lot of times, if you're if you have a web page and you say I'm a journalist and you do blogs and information, but you know, and I guess true, there are a lot of crackpots on YouTube. I'm sure I've been called one, whatever. But journalists are usually, you have to be being paid by somebody in the Associated Press, like an actual news outlet, a channel, like a news channel and stuff like that, or a newspaper. Let's see. Let me keep going. I'm so far behind with y'all. Sleuthy Goosey. Does anybody know? Let me check real quick and see if they have any more live feeds. And I'm sure they took yeah. But as soon as, if somebody finds out, I'm trying to keep up with this. If somebody finds out before me that they're back on, even if they have bad internet and it comes in and out, just want to show support for what they're doing for justice, support for justice in general. Okay. Of course, it breaks the gag order. They can't tell anyone, including journalists. Lambert, I am agreeing with you that there are, I'm agreeing with you in a lot of what you're saying. Does it go all the way up? Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on. It's not just Indiana. It's not just, it goes all the way to Washington. And I will say that it goes past Washington. You really want to follow this up, it's a worldwide situation. So if you are in one of the rungs of that, whatever group, whatever ideology that you have, and you are in that on that ladder somehow connected, yeah, it goes everywhere. The corruption. Let's see. Almost seemed like, you know what, you could be right. Almost seemed like the court building was interfering with the signal. You know what? I want to tell you something. Nothing would surprise me. Nothing. And I guess, really what does surprise me is how much resistance this has gotten. This whole case, oh my gosh, the giant pit of vipers. You don't even know where they start or where they end. But I think it's absolutely, it could be. Wouldn't surprise me. Absolutely nothing. Okay, so you're saying somebody's trying to dampen the signal. It could be. Although let me check real quick. I've had two other people. I've had two other people. Let me check my email real quick. Who are going to try to be there and give me a live feed. I really think, which is so cold, and I know I didn't have as, like I said, I couldn't get there at this time of year, particularly with stuff that's going on at work. But I think if we end up having this kind of thing again, I would love to think that this is going to be resolved, that they're going to look at it and rule in favor of due process. In the event that it doesn't, my suggestion is to really pick a time when a lot of people can be there, and that we all just join StreamYard, even on a free account, even if you're not a streamer. Or some kind of streaming service. I just think everybody should get on their phones out, okay, and maybe even have a backup. I don't know, a backup hotspot or something like that, to stream everything. I know a lot of us wanted to see, and I understand a peaceful protest is, it's a long event, but I hope a lot of creators are covering this because it is important. Like I said at the very beginning, it's important for me personally here in Alabama. What happens in this case in Indiana could potentially affect me or my family, and that is important to me. Okay? Not just justice for the girls, although that is what I've been working on this whole year. Countless hours, time that I've spent doing nothing but researching and talking about Delphi. Still, and as much as that, and as much as Flora means to me, on a personal level, it's not just that. It's what happens to the people I love or to me when this gets set as a precedent of ridiculousness. It can't happen, y'all. It can't happen. Um, uh, and I'm not somebody saying that should have been organized better. Sometimes I don't think it's even, I think it's good. I think what they're doing is great. Getting out there, especially on today, especially putting pressure on what is going to happen, letting people know, because after today, it would be harder if it goes badly. If the decision goes badly, then it's going to be really hard to work around it. Okay. So I think it's important to put that pressure on before, at least the day of, whatever, to let people know, hey, we're watching. It's an unfortunate time of the year, okay, for anything, really. I mean, you're talking about, we just had Thanksgiving, people are already traveling, families, whatever, Christmas is coming up. The weather, y'all, the weather up there this time of year. So I get it. I think it's a very, a valiant attempt to do something, which is important. Do something. Let's see. Okay, Sleuthy Goosey says, okay, so what I've been thinking about is the timeline of the first few days of arrest and the safekeeping order. Can you elaborate? I mean, oh gosh, I'm so far behind. I don't even know if you've said more about that. You are welcome. If you want to, you're welcome to come up on panel and talk about it. Absolutely. So just let me know, although it might take me a hot minute to get there. And I will say this, to prison. Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. That is a very good point, that he went to prison before he even had attorneys assigned. And look, I know I did several videos about jail conditions when this first came out, because that's what I do. Okay. I'm a correctional nurse. And I understand how, now I am in a county jail. It's a bigger county jail. not in the prison. I understand a lot of people, because we get a lot of people from DOC coming to us, and then people we're holding for DOC. So I hear a lot about what goes on in the Department of Corrections. And I mean, even we had a case very similar as far as children involved in a horrific unaliving just in the last couple of years, and the trial was the beginning of 2023. We did the same thing for this guy's protection, even though really nobody wanted to protect him. It was horrible. I mean, and it wasn't like there was a question. He did admit to it. There was solid 100% solid evidence against him, and it was senseless and it was awful. And we could not hold him in our jail because we could not guarantee his safety, even though physically we had the means to safely hold him. I mean, it's just, it was right here in the town that the jail is in. And the chances that somebody could, get to him were, really high. And I'm not talking about the officers. I'm talking about the inmates, although, it was a horrific crime. So I understood when they first put him in ISO, yeah, you would have to. But he's been there for a year. And, all the things they talk about, the size of the cell, and I've said this in my other videos, these things are standard practice. Yes, they are. Are they horrible? Yes, they are. But that is, hey, this is the country that you live in. This is the jail system. This is the prison system. But what is not okay, I'm not saying it's okay because he wasn't convicted, but again, I understand sort of their reasoning. But now it's been a year. Okay, nobody should be in ISO for a year. That there's limits on that, and it is beyond, in my opinion, it is beyond cruel and unusual to leave somebody in ISO for a year when they've done nothing wrong. Okay. Under the threats. And then we know the truth about what the guards said and the patches. And I'm like, come on. I mean, what did y'all expect? When that hearing was in June, and I talked to several people back then who were there at the time, and, they were all like, well, the guard said, the warden said this didn't happen. Well, what do you think they're going to say? Come on. You think they're going to say, oh, yeah, I beat the crap out of him last night? Yeah. What do you think they're going to say? They're not going to say, oh, yeah, he's being mistreated. He's being threatened. He's afraid to eat his food, or it's just so bad he can't eat it. I mean, what do you expect? Come on. If they had gotten up there and testified to something like that, they would have been immediately had charges. So they're going to say it's okay. Everything's good. It's all good? No. And so I agree with you, Hybrid Pisces. I'm dumbfounded that he's in prison, and there has barely been a peep from media citizens of Indiana. I mean, some of it, there has been a lot of stuff, mostly from the defense, though, because up until, okay, I know I was following it, and up until, what was it, about April, or when was it, April, May? I can't remember when he started to go downhill, and then they had that picture out. But until then, everything that I had heard or read said that basically Richard Allen, in spite of his circumstances, was keeping a positive attitude, working with his attorneys. That's what I heard on media. Nobody really knew until we saw the picture of his very drastic weight loss. And, then even the people who were not really supporters of Richard Allen, who were at that inside the courthouse in that June hearing, told me personally he was out of it. Like, he looked like nothing was going on in there, like he was in another world. That was very concerning. And so that's, I would think, but this is just me, I would think as a judge and seeing this and hearing public outcry and seeing the difference, that you would have at least allowed the transfer to another facility to have another set of eyes looked on him, set on him. Let's have him evaluated elsewhere. Let's see if he does better, because you can tell he's not well. Judge Gold, you could see that Rick Allen was not well. And to leave him in that situation when the defense is saying, hey, can't we move him somewhere else? If you want someone to go to trial, even if you want them to be found guilty, you don't want any excuses, okay? You don't want to say he was out of his head. You want it clear. You don't, look, even now, if the court rules badly on this situation, guess what? If Richard Allen, let's just say for a moment, imagine that he is completely guilty, all right? And some of you believe that. Some of you don't. But let's just say it is proven where we all think he's 100% guilty. But we have all this BS that's been going on in these court proceedings and things that aren't due process and hearings that never happened. And like, look, even going back to the Franks, and if the new attorneys don't want to, go forward with that, which I highly doubt that they will, at some point, even if by the end of this trial, we all think he's 100% guilty, it's still going to be a legal mess. And are they going to appeal it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt, they're going to appeal it. And if the evidence is compelling enough because of what's happened, then they can overturn that whole thing. And then here we are at square one again. So even if you are on the RA is guilty train, you need to stop and think, hey, we need this to be above board. We need to see the evidence. We need to have everything, all the I's dotted, the T's crossed, because when this verdict comes down, we need to know that it is to the best of the ability of the jury, and there are no grounds for appeal and overturning it. Okay? I mean, I do not want to be talking about Delphi for the next 6 years. And that's exactly what you're looking at if you don't do it right to start with. So that isn't what's important to me, to everybody involved, to Rick Allen, certainly. Like I said, I personally do not see compelling evidence. And I'll say it again. If there were compelling evidence, now it might be, they didn't have to put it in the PCA. If there is compelling evidence that leaves me without a reasonable doubt, then I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it at all, not even close. But if there is that, then I'm open. Show me what you got. But my big question is if you've really got good evidence against him, then why was it such a bogus piece of crap for the PCA? Look at Rex Heuermann. I mean, there you go. His whole case is really laid out there in the PCA. I'm reading his PCA, and I'm thinking, there ain't no way this man ain't guilty. No way. And even if he's not, even if somehow they say that he wasn't involved with those girls, the Long Island, the Go-Go Beach girls, I'm saying, yeah, he's involved with somebody. Somebody had, he should be behind bars for life for what he has done, okay? There is really little question of compelling evidence against him. Compare that with Rick Allen's PCA. Yeah, there's some things that say, well, that would make you think, the witnesses, the timeline, you're like, okay, well, He might be involved, but then it starts falling apart everywhere. So show me the evidence. I'm not. I always intend to remain unbiased until I see the evidence, but all I've seen so far is a miscarriage of justice, and that is a problem. Hey, Laura Thompson. Okay, good. Catch it on the replay. Let's see. Let me go back up here. I'm so sorry. I don't have any more live links. I don't think they're live yet. Hi, Watha. Oh man, I'm so far. Y'all are so good. I am so far behind. Let's see. We can't afford to move him safely. We can't afford to keep him safe in jail. So that's his problem. No. Oh, they can afford to. Oh, come on. Give me a break. Hey, Linda Kay. I agree. I do think at this point it is cruel and unusual punishment. Adjusted Fate says, hold on. Y'all, the reason he was sent to prison was to secure the coerced confession to save Nikki's case. In my opinion, allegedly. It's insulting that they think we can't see what they're doing. Yeah, I love that last little bit. Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder now, right? Because he was put in this position. And first of all, even in the best case scenario, jailhouse confessions are pretty much worthless, okay? And then you're going to add to it the odinous patches and all this kind of stuff. It's not going to sway a jury. A jury's going to say that's crap. That's crap. We can't believe any of this. It shouldn't even be brought into court, in my opinion. It shouldn't even be allowed as evidence because of the conditions that he was in. That we know. You know, the guards have said, oh, yeah, we had the odinous patches on. Well, geez. That's not scary, right? All right. Sleuthy. All right. There are many studies with regard to solitary confinement and how it destroys mental and physical health, even after very short periods of isolation and long after they are removed from isolation. I agree. I see it every day. You know, we have people in ISO, and when you're in a jail or prison or whatever, even if you're in Gen Pop to start with, and you're somebody who starts fights or whatever, you're a problem. That's a punishment. Also, medical ISO is supposed to be a where we can keep you safe. And that is the reason, that we do that, put them in medical ISO, but so we can watch them. But at the same time, does it cause a problem mentally? Of course it does. Of course it does. And so we're not using it as a punishment, but the jail does, because like you cause all these troubles, you're starting a fight, you've hurt somebody, whatever, you're going in ISO. That is a way to control your actions, all right? To make sure that you're being a good girl or good boy, right? It's like being sent to the corner, worse, but in school, put your nose in the corner. That's kind of what you're doing. You can't see, you can't, whatever. And this, I have no doubt that he is going to have very long lasting, even if he were set free today. Is this always going to be a problem for him, like PTSD? And yeah, absolutely. Rick Allen's life will never be the same, even if he is found not guilty and freed. His life will always be different, and he will always have triggers and fears and stuff like that. Now, if it is proven, conclusively that he is guilty, I'm not, It is what it is. But not to say I'm not concerned, because that's not true either. Um, but I mean, you kind of brought it on yourself. And just for the record, even if they prove, like, if they have solid evidence that Rick Allen is involved, I never will believe that he is the actual perpetrator of the unaliving part. Okay, even if they say he was helping, he was a lookout, he was, involved in some way, I do not believe that he's the perpetrator. And even though he will be charged and he will have to, have the weight of the sentence of being involved in that, and I'm not even disagreeing with that, okay? Um, what we're not doing is we're not finding the perpetrator, okay? All eyes on Rick Allen. Let's put our eyes on who did this, because, clearly Robert Ives thought this would be solved in a couple of days. Y'all, there's very compelling and a great amount of evidence. If y'all can find that original interview, hey, you need to go back and watch it. It's very long. His and geez, when you listen to him, it's like, wow. And so, it makes you wonder why he felt compelled to leave his position. And I don't know. I'm just saying. All right. Does anybody know? I keep waiting for something to see if we've got any more. Let me check Discord again and see if anything is going on. Any other links? All right. Let me look at one more thing. Let me look at the Facebook link. I just don't want to miss out on showing you this, okay? Because it's important. I don't see anything. I don't see anything new. All right. If I miss something, somebody please tell me and we will immediately go to it. Let me try to catch up. Y'all are so far ahead of me. Hello, I have Apophis. How you doing? Bottom line, if the state had the convincing evidence, they would be going by the book at every step. Just the opposite has happened. You know what? That is exactly what I think. Think of it. Let's just be logical for a second. If you have compelling evidence and you know that you can prove that this guy is guilty, then yes, you want that. You want every step to be perfect. You want that due process. You want everything done perfectly. You don't want to mess up your case because you know you've got the proof. So you're going by the book. So the fact that you're doing everything but lying in the affidavits, changing times, changing the way the vehicle looks. There's nothing that we heard about a 1965 Comet before, and that was definitely not black, which was RA's, car color. Like, why are you changing all this if you have the truth and facts? Think, people, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And so now, not only are you screwing over this guy's life, but now you're trying to screw over everybody's by pulling these shenanigans in the courtroom and setting a precedent that could affect all of us if we or our families found ourselves in the same situation. Come on. It's bad enough you're ruining one life. You got to ruin everybody's. You got to stand up for this kind of, chicanery in the judge's chambers and say, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Just let her do what she wants. Oh, no. That is not acceptable to me. It shouldn't be acceptable to you or to anybody. And for that reason, like I said, I hope everybody, if you go, if you're on Facebook, you can look up the unraveling. You can look at the event Groundswell, share it, comment on it. I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends, my in real life Facebook friends, they don't really care about true crime. Some of them do, some of them don't. But I think everybody should be uh, compelled to care about what can affect them. Because, basically, I mean, I want to say most humans are a little bit, I want to say selfish, but we're self absorbed. Okay. Everything is, how is it going to affect me? That's natural. How's it going to affect me and my family? That's not necessarily a bad thing. So let's go on that level, because it does. It does affect you and your family, not just a case in Indiana. And as much as I want to see justice for Flora and Delphi, I want to make sure that we keep the integrity of the justice system. Even though integrity and politics, it's like an oxymoron, isn't it? I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel about it. Let's see. Hybrid says, okay, the death of local news has had profound effect upon us in ways we are just starting to understand. The internet will fill the void, but there is a gap between the two. Yes, there is. There is, and that's kind of sad. But you have to remember too that even local news stations have affiliations with, major networks and stuff. So they are compelled to report the way their people say. The beautiful thing, okay, it's both good and bad, YouTube. There are some real, like I said earlier, there's some real Fruit Loops out there. There are a lot of interesting people. There are a lot of really, really intelligent people. So the internet is full, okay, of everything. But the beautiful thing about it is that while people may have their own agenda, and I even believe, or let me just say, I could be convinced to believe that some YouTube channels are getting paid in some way. If it's not money, then it's, other ways, favors, whatever. I think that some YouTube channels are bought, I guess, by people with an agenda. Maybe it is a network, maybe it is a, whatever the case is, whichever case it is. I think there are people that are controlling the narrative. I think a lot of people are just independent thinkers, and that is the beauty, though, because you're going to have the good and the bad, right? You can have the nut jobs. You can have the people that have the complete wrong narrative, but at least it gives you some way to think, right? Let's think. For Pitts, when the money is still coming in, why would you want it to end? Yeah, I'm just going to leave that right there. I mean, you have to think, and I'm not even talking about the family. I'm talking about like Delphi. How many visitors? How much have they been able to gather in all sorts of ways? All right. Even if you're just going to Delphi, if there is nothing, like 10 years ago, is nothing in the world that would have compelled me to search out a place called Delphi, Indiana, and go spend my money there. Right? No. But now, this case, the dragging it on, the questions, now the trial and all this stuff. How many people go to Delphi? How many people, like it's put them on the map. There's a lot of income. There's a lot of stuff that has happened to help the town. So yeah, why would you want to stop it? Of course, you're right. Okay. ASMR Tingled Pink. Hello, hello. And why would they want the defense gone? If the prosecution has such a solid case, they would be ready to stand trial in January and want the defense to stay. Absolutely. I agree. Why would you? If you're ready, if Nick has put in so much work, and I'm not saying he hasn't put in work to this case, but if you've put in all this time and you're ready to go in January, you would think, if you knew that you were going to win this case, your evidence was compelling. Again, why are you trying to suppress anything? Why are you trying to like move it along another year? Change the defense attorneys. Like, see, this makes no sense. Even if, let's just say, even if I were on the 100% Rick Allen is guilty side, I think that I would still have to wonder, why are they doing this? Why don't they just leave it alone? Like, let's go to trial. Let's see this stuff. Let's get it done. It makes no sense. That's the problem. I'm looking for a thread of common sense in this case, and I'm just telling you, I haven't found it. None. And, you know, you may say that the defense strategy was crazy with the Odinus and the cult and whatever. You know it can sound like that. The more I look into it, the less I think it's weird. The less I think that it is that far-fetched. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's how it went, but I certainly know that they have evidence. Like, look, they have evidence to back up their theory. I'm not seeing a lot from the defense, so that leads me to believe that they're thinking, yeah, I really better get some better evidence. I better have more compelling things to say in January. So let's just take another year off, okay? Maybe by then I'll have it together. I don't know. It's the way it looks, okay? That's just the way it looks to me. Let me see. All right. Well, I know I have kept y'all on here a long time, and I had hoped that we could see more of it. Y'all have such good comments on here. I'm so far behind. Grizz, I don't even know because it's been a while. I don't even know if you're still on here. The leaks began well before Richard Allen's arrest, akin to the searcher list. Yes. Additionally, they shifted evidence and the task force from Delphi to its current location. You are so right. Y'all, I want to just tell you, Grizz is a smart guy. You check his channel out, and I don't have his links. I need to. Grizmatically Clever. Check him out. Let's see. Does it make more sense Logan Holder knew Abby and Libby were coming to the trails, or that some random dude like Rick Allen or whoever had that communication? I mean, I know. Stranger things have happened, but, if you're just going to go on probabilities, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so, I mean, when you put all this together, you have to look at the whole picture, all right? And I'm going to kind of end with this. You have to look at the whole picture. If you are looking at this case, and I mean, how many, we've seen so many trials, right? Even the Lori Daybell, she was out there. They had to delay her trial by a year? I don't know, at least, because she was in, she was having a mental health crisis. Okay. But outside of some really, odd things, most of the time, you don't get into craziness. The Delphi craziness has gotten so big, like it's everywhere. It's covered by major networks. It's overseas. Like people, you have a lot of creators from overseas that are, very invested in this case. It is ridiculous. But how many times do you see the things that we have seen so far? From the very beginning, and then the whole thing with how he is in prison, and why is he even in prison, and look, it is a dog and pony show, and you just have to think there is a reason. Where there's smoke there's fire, right? Old adage, but it's true. When you see the smoke circulating, that tells you it's incompetence, it's cover up. There's some things that don't add up. You're always going to have a little bit of people kicking up some dust here and there, but these things have really, really been constant through the last 6 years. Okay, real questions. Certainly a lot of better persons of interest than Rick Allen. But you have to think that there is a reason that this is turned into the circus. I mean, I think that's what I should have just named my channel the Delphi Circus, although I govern more than Delphi. Definitely. It's like, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I agree with you, Adjusted Fate. There's more agendas floating around this case than floating around Capitol Hill. Absolutely. Absolutely. Linda Kay, this is absolutely true. She says, I read somewhere, if the law isn't applied to the worst of us, then how can we expect it to be applied to the best of us? Well, actually, that's the problem. A lot of people get the best, money talks, unfortunately. But at least in this case, Rick Allen got some, awesome attorneys before they were kicked off. Really, really compelling, and I'm glad for that. Okay. I would love to, and here's the thing, no matter what side you're on, it's my opinion, but I think both sides, Rick Allen is innocent, Rick Allen is guilty. I think both sides should have one common goal at this point, and that is and the reason, again, if you have a solid case, I think they should both be on the side of due process, and let's reinstate these attorneys and let's go to trial. Let's get this done. Let's get everything out there. Because if you don't have anything to hide, then you don't care what is exposed, right? Okay. What? I got nothing to hide. So just expose it all out there. It's only people who have something to hide that's shady that want to keep it in the dark. You want to keep that cover. You want to keep it mysterious. You want to keep it sealed. But if you don't have anything to hide outside of, now there are some reasons to seal. Okay, there are some details that the public doesn't need to know. Certainly, things like crime scene photos and that kind of information, that intensity, yeah, that should be sealed. Because it's no, just no. But, everything else should be transparent. And I think if everybody was above board, we would all be on the same page. No matter what side of the courtroom you're sitting on, you should, say, hey, let's get this done. Let's throw the evidence out there. Let's see. Let's see if he's guilty or innocent. This is ridiculousness. You're right, Lambert. Where are the investigative reporters? 20 years ago, the media would have broadcasted across our country the blatant abuse of power that is on full display. Now that one side owns all of the media, nothing. Of course. I mean, you can see that. But, don't you think that's the beauty of social media? Or of just the internet, okay? It doesn't matter if you're on social media or if you've got a blog somewhere, which I guess is kind of social, but um, whatever, you have a voice. With the internet, everybody has a voice, even if it is, a voice in a chat room, on a discussion group, somewhere. You have the ability to make a noise. And before, outside of having protests, like physical protests and physical groups and stuff, writing in, to your congressman, whatever, uh now at least there's that. At least there are independent voices, and whether you agree with them or not, that is, up to you. But what I'm saying is we have the opportunity to all be investigators, to all put in what we know, what we think, you know, let them sort it out. But at least we have the ability to bring this to people's attention. All right. And that is the beautiful thing, even though it brings out the internet brings out both the best and the worst of people. And you have to filter through it. But it at least brings hope that you can have a different opinion and a different narrative uh, than what you get fed. Um, okay. Digital says every law enforcement tool known to man, and you can't even bother to interview people who confess or get videos of people at work, so there will be no questions about alibi. Look, those. I want to tell you something. I think that the most disturbing thing for me in this whole thing was the affidavits. Like, there it is. There it is in black and white. And you lied. You lied, Tony. You lied, Nick. When you said that this is what the witnesses said, you lied. So, what are we supposed to do with that? What are we supposed to infer from that? Well, I can tell you what I think based on that is I think y'all are liars because you've already proven you are. So, what kind of, if I'm a juror, and I'm not going to be on that jury because I live in Alabama, but if I'm a juror and the first thing I see is the PCA is inaccurate and that you lied, well, I'm not going to believe any kind of piece of evidence that you throw up in that courtroom. Because how do I know that you didn't lie and manipulate the reports or whatever? You already said that the Purdue professor couldn't be found, didn't know who he was. He might never be found. Well, that was horse bucky. So now, can I believe anything that you say? Can I believe anything that you say, Tony? Tobe? No, I can't. Because you have already shown that you are willing to lie on a legal document. So what else are you willing to lie about? In my opinion, anything. Anything. And that's not okay. So yeah. I just want truth. And like I said, I've said it a million times, I do not have a dog in this fight. I can't even think. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. I don't have a dog in this fight. It's not going to affect me. Now, due process affects me. But what the verdict is, like, it's not going to affect me in my day-to-day life. All right? Not like it's going to affect Rick Allen and the families of Abby and Libby and all that. So nobody's paying me to have an opinion. I am simply saying, you know what? I don't know. whether he's innocent or guilty. And it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't affect me personally whether they find him innocent or guilty, as long as it is based on truth. Okay? As long as it is based on the truth, that's what I want to know. And right now, I haven't seen any truth coming out of the prosecution's side. I've seen a bunch of smoke and mirrors and lies on affidavits. So what do you expect me to think? I'm just going to think you're full of crap. And as a juror, I'm certainly going to think that. As a juror, I'll just be honest with you. If it comes out in court that the PCA was inaccurate and what they said to get him charged to start with was a lie, that is the point right there as a juror that I'm going to flip the channel. And I'm like, you know what? Prosecution's full of crap. They're railroading this guy. And even if it wasn't true, that's where my mind's going to be. So why would you risk it to start with? Did you risk lying on the affidavit because you were so sure that nobody was going to find out and nobody was going to challenge it? You must have. Because I don't think that y'all are stupid. Well, some of you. I don't think all of you are stupid. So I have to think that the reason that you allowed all that is because you thought you could get away with it. And if you thought you could get away with it, it is because you've gotten away with it before, right? Let's not talk about it. Let's just refer to Jesse Snyder. We saw how that case went. So I think Gull is doing the same thing. Like, she's just acting like she has always acted. You don't like this? You want this person off? You want that out? Do what you want. Go, girl. You've been ruling that county. It's what it looks like to me. And this is the point that people need to stand up and say, it's not okay. It's not okay. This is still supposed to be a country with law, rules, order, innocent till proven guilty. It's important. Truth matters. It matters so much. And that's just what I have to say about that. So anyway, I am not going to keep you anymore. If anything, Interesting. Oh, okay. Hey, Megan. I just now saw you. I don't know how long ago you put this on here. Hey, Silky, I'll be down there soon and check in with you on Discord. Okay, if for some reason oh my goodness, I'm so far behind. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close out this, I guess. And let me see. I may have someone who is out there. Let's see if she gets y'all have such good comments. You get me all wound up. Let me see if I can get her on Discord real quick. Let's see. I haven't seen her yet. So I don't know whether to stop this stream or I hope that she is able to, maybe she'll be able to get some good internet service. I don't know. I think that's a lesson to all of us, though. Let's just keep this in mind. If and when this happens again or something, I think we probably need to have maybe a backup hotspot or something like that could bypass. Could we bypass other stuff? Yeah. All right. I am Megan. If you're listening, I may wait till I get see if you get some internet service. If you're able to stream, I can always pull up a live stream again. Um, I'll be glad to, because I know people want to see what's going on. I do, even if it's if it's just, I mean, you know how protest is. Um, I want to see. I want to see. I want us to. I want them to be able to feel our support. Okay. It's cold. People have taken time out of their lives to go up there in the freezing cold and stand for something. And I believe that they deserve our support. Um, we don't have to agree on all of the different aspects of this case. All right. It's fine. It's fine not to. Um, but we need to support. Okay. Support truth. So let me see. What is Discord and how you participate? Let me tell you something, Lambert. Discord is both. It's an app. It is both wonderful as far as communication and having private communications with people. That's not email and all that kind of stuff. It's great for group participation. I've got a Discord. Discord is also the devil incarnate. Okay, it can be the place where people come up with the worst possible things they could. And I mean, I'm not picking on any group, okay? I am in a lot of Discords, a lot. And they're not all true crime, okay? So some of them have nothing to do with true crime or anything like that. But the craziness that ensues, dear Jesus. I don't know. I really want to say, hey, yeah, join my Discord. If you do want to join my Discord, you can. If you can't find it anywhere else, because the links only last for so long. Let's see. Put the link for Discord. All right. Let me see. Let me pull up my Discord. Hold on. Let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to sign into it. Because I didn't have it up because I had Facebook up. And I do have a Facebook. I am rarely on there. Very rarely. Let me find my Discord and I'll pop the link on there. Like I said, it doesn't last that long. Well, goodness. A server link. Invite people. Okay, let me see. This will take you have to download the app. Like I said, be warned. Discord is the devil. This should bring you to my server, and it's only going to be available for so long. Oh, thank you, Jinx. Thank you, Jinxie. I appreciate that a whole lot. She says she did it before I did. Yes, Deb. It is like a huge chat room, and some of look, there's a lot of different conversations I love. I love that, but it is definitely a time. It can be a time waster, which I don't have a whole lot of time anyway. But I do. Yeah, just join me on Discord, and then once you get on there, you can. There's all kind of tabs for different topics. Some of them are fun. All right, I am going to end this, and if I can get a live stream from somewhere, if either Megan Z does or I have somebody else, I have a couple of people who are trying. They might have this might be the whole problem. All right, is the internet service or whatever signal. But even if we can't get back up live, okay, remember, it's about due process. It's about your rights, my rights, and that's the bottom line. So, I guess do whatever you can to share share the message. Uh, please, actually, if you would, please give a like, a thumbs up on this live stream so that will push it out to more people. I wish I had more of the actual protest, the event that I could have shared, but in and out. Like I said, it's been a hot mess uh, today. So if I get more footage, or I may just go like it was a surprise live this morning. Like I thought I could do this from Zoom, but I couldn't. So anyway, I will be back if I've got more information. In the meantime, I'm going to be keeping up with everybody, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. I hope everything goes well and everything remains peaceful and no shenanigans take place. Okay, let's just say no to the shenanigans. All right, and I'll be back again if I find some other way to stream it to you. All right, in the meantime, I'm just going to end this. I don't even have anything planned. Stay safe. As always, drive careful out there, y'all. And whatever you do, just stay silky. Okay? Bye bye.